Hey guys, I'm with Jason, the CEO of Schiit Audio. Nice to meet you, Jason.
I guess I'm the CEO.
CEO. He actually off air. He just cracked a joke. Say it again. Is it good?
Yeah, I mean, the title on my card is head, so I'm the shithead.
Is the shithead of
Yeah.
Schiit Audio?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Thank you for taking the time for walking us through a few of your new products here.
thanks for coming out and seeing our stuff.
Definitely.
We have a couple of new things in another room, but that's mainly it's more headphone stuff. This is the two channel room. So
Well, that's definitely what
we got
we're
a couple
into,
things
for
we
sure.
announced like a week ago, or actually 3 or 4 days ago. We have the new Freya Plus with list, or they're solid state tubes. As people know, tubes are not as easy to get, not as inexpensive as they have been. So one of our answers is like, cool, here's some solid state things you can plug in and place the tubes, and you always have a backup. And if you got great tubes, use those. That's great.
Very cool.
And underneath is actually Freya N, or Freya Noval. It takes smaller tubes that are actually easier to get, so people can go in tube roll to their heart's content. And
by the way, they scared me because I was over here like checking it out,
Oh.
and from a distance they were turning it down, and it's like, is there a ghost here? It was actually, it's really cool. It like clicks and rolls the volume knob down. I don't know. I thought it was super cool.
Our EQ has like presets where actually if you go between presets, it actually goes and moves all the knobs.
Oh, that's cool.
To the presets.
It actually just comes right back to where
Yep.
you set it in, dialed it in.
Yep. So
That's awesome. So you walked us through these two pieces. What are we looking at down here on these other ones?
it's Yggdrasil. That's our biggest, most expensive DAC that we do.
Okay.
It's just a D-Day converter. That's all it does. And then we have 2 tiers. Those are top-of-line monoblock amplifier, and those were introduced just a couple months ago. Iggy's been around for a long time, but yeah, mainly a lot of the stuff we're doing this show is like trying to make sure that people can use tubes or have alternatives. We're introducing a new headphone amp at the show that's tube or not, and it uses the same topology. It actually, switches over to internal depletion mode MOSFETs if you pull the tube out, and it just keeps running.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're introducing a new DAC that's kind of like a desktop size Yggdrasil. It's Bifrost 2/64, which is 8 16-bit DAC channels all put together, not just summed, but we have our own little secret sauce.
Nice.
But that's a very, very good high-performing multi-bit DAC that people can actually, if they have a Bifrost 2, they can upgrade it to that themselves. They just
No way.
they just go to our site. We send them a slide-in card and an SD card with the firmware on it, and there you go. Now you don't have to throw
That's
it.
so cool. Yeah, exactly. Just upgrade.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure you hear this all the time. I love your marketing. Like your shirts, I shit you not.
Yeah.
He's got an employee around here. It says, "My life is shit."
Yeah,
Just like,
only employees get the "My Life is Shit."
yeah, that's actually perfect.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and this is like, we have some posters we're giving away of an ad that many people thought was a little too offensive to run, so we turned it into a poster, and it says "I shit you not" on the ad. So,
Awesome.
yeah, there you go.
And I was on your website. I thought it was great. I live here in Austin, but just to see that you're manufacturing out of Corpus Christi as well.
Yep.
Is that, I should have done more research, but I'm talking to you right now. Anyways, have you been manufacturing there for a while, or is that a new endeavor?
As of last year, we ramped up about this time last year to actually produce in Corpus Christi, and right now
So you and Elon kind of came over at the same time. I know you're manufacturing in California as well, another beautiful state.
And about half is here and half is in California. Okay. The smaller, higher volume stuff is here. Anything that uses a wall wart or is USB powered is here. Anything that has a cord coming out of it is California for the moment. We'll see how the mix goes. But yeah, we've been having a great time in Corpus, and love Austin too, but when the wife goes, "Hey, it'd be nice to be by the beach."
Of course,
Guess where
I'm sure you make it up to Port Aransas every so often. I'm a huge fisherman, so I'm always out there fishing.
Yeah, we actually live on Padre Island, so yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we spend bit over half our time here and then a little bit of time in California.
But hey, I want to commend you for, you offer what appears to be an exceptionally value products that are actually designed, manufactured in America.
Yep.
You don't see that all the time, so, and just the way you describe it on your website, it's how most of us feel, but not many people actually follow through with
Yeah.
that, because I'm sure you could probably make X amount more money, but you don't have the employees here. It's just,
It depends. I mean, you can make great products anywhere. We chose, very early on to do it here, mainly to have the control. That allows us to have a fairly big line. It allows us to, actually have really close coupling, between essentially our subs and ourselves, because we have chassis that are made in California. We have chassis now that are made here in Texas. We have PC boards that are made in Texas, Utah, Nevada, California, and all of this stuff, the thing is we can actually go and see those guys. We visit them, and then in our shop, we actually do the final assembly, testing, integration, et cetera. And that's where everything comes together. So if you see, if you see assembled in USA, on our stuff, what it really means is still we're working with subcontractors, but they are here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not getting the chassis elsewhere. It matters to some people.
yeah, because I don't even know the technical legalities, but I'm sure a lot of people, it's mostly foreign parts and then assembled here. I don't know how much of it has to be made here. Honestly, like most of the stuff.
To say made in USA, 100% has to be made here.
Okay.
It is impossible to say made in USA.
Well, just how you, okay.
It is impossible. And if you get reported to the FTC claiming made in USA, they come and give you a visit. In fact, there's 2 other manufacturers here that have had that visit. And the reason we changed is we heard from them, and they're like, you better not be using made in USA anymore. Because
Really?
they're like, yeah.
But I thought all your stuff is basically
It is
from
made
here.
Yeah, and probably 90 to 99% of the cost of the product goes to companies here making things here. But that's not good enough, because the
This is insane.
FTC says, well, where's your steel actually coming from? I'm like, California. And like, yeah, but where's the steel and the aluminum sheet coming from? And it's like, we don't know. And like, yeah, so it could be Taiwan. And it's like, they're like, yeah, you can claim it if you can prove all that. And I'm like,
I mean, I couldn't imagine
for
a
30
much more
products?
American product, the way you described it.
Yeah.
You've done your due diligence. You've got all your suppliers coming from America. It's like, it really bothers me when I'm in like Walmart and I'm looking at food and I'm like, okay, is this at least American? Distributed by, and it's out of like Arkansas. I'm like, but is this like just foreign food? And it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but I just want my food to be from here. Just like
Right.
a lot of my gear, I would like to be from here. Most of my stuff, I would love if it was from here, but
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying though? How they skirt around it, but they don't say manufactured or made in. But I just learned something that's actually really interesting. I actually took apart a speaker. I had this old speaker at my place, little bookshelf speaker, Yamaha speaker. I'm like, wow, made in America. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I don't know why, I just popped out the back, and the first piece, it just says made in Taiwan. And it's like, that's
Yeah.
stamped made in America, but that's probably old, and they've got no new
and
rules and everything else.
Yeah, apparently they started, cracking down a few years ago. And,
Interesting.
And we decided to change before we got the visit, because one manufacturer, who shall remain nameless.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to throw them under
Yeah,
the bus
no,
either. It's just, it was an older
No,
speaker.
they
It
got
might
a
even be
visit,
from, like,
and
the
I'm like, well,
90s.
of course you got a visit. You're doing some stuff in China. And they're like, it's not for that. It's for the stuff we're making that's exactly like yours. U.S. supplier, U.S. supply chain, 100%. And we got a visit for that. And when we pushed back, they said, would you like to be shut down until we? Yeah, and it's like, oh boy. So I'm
Thanks,
like,
Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
You're making life a lot easier for us.
yeah. Whereas, if you, made in Germany, it's like, well, it's 80%ish, it's fine. Here, it's like, no, 100%. And then you better be able to, do the provenance, better, grow.
Which it does make sense, but if your
I get it.
suppliers, but it's like, how
I
deep do you
understand.
want to get like so crazy?
I
about it
understand
that-
why the FTC
Yeah.
is doing it. You know, it's like they don't want you misleading people.
Yeah, exactly.
And, yeah.
But
I
for a
mean,
guy like you who explains, look at all these people.
but that's why we explain it,
Yeah.
because we
and that's why I love the
we
way
had
you
to
have it worded
switch.
on your website.
Yeah.
And everyone should go check out their website because the way they have it worded is just, excellent.
Yeah.
But okay, what are the 3 products aside from what you just walked us through?
Mhm.
We're gonna go get some product shots and walk through the place. What are a few items that we should really pay attention to?
You
that,
should head down to the room at the end, look at Folkvanger,
Okay.
and look at Lear Plus. Those are 2 really cool, like, they're headphone-related products, but they can also be used as preamps and things like
Okay.
that.
Very
But
cool.
yeah.
Well, hey, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you putting on this show. Thank you.
No, good deal.
I spoke to your friend downstairs, Emotiva. They
Oh,
got the
Dan,
funny
yeah.
Emotiva ain't shit shirts on, and yeah, he's a
Yeah.
nice guy. He spoke very highly of you. It was nice to meet you. Appreciate your time and appreciate what you're doing. Keep up.
Well, no, thanks
Keep
for coming.
fighting the good
Thanks for
fight,
coming and
sir.
seeing us, because, I mean, this is really good. We're getting out, people are seeing things again, and it's nice to be back at a
Yeah.
show.
Hopefully it can be an annual thing again, hopefully.
I think we're shooting for that.
Sweet.
So, we'll
All
see.
right.
Keep your fingers crossed.